I think I might have found the most beautiful Gibson Les Paul standard. In today's episode, we take a look at a Gibson Les Paul from 2014 in Ocean Burst. So let's get started and take a look at this beautiful guitar. Hello guys, welcome back to Squealing Pig Guitars, the luxury showroom machines here in Nottingham, England. My name is Ben Keightley, and today I've got the pleasure of showing you a beautiful Gibson Les Paul standard from 2014. The main draw to this guitar is the premium quilt top on it, and it's finished in this beautiful ocean blue perimeter burst, as they were made in the 120th year of Gibson, so it's an anniversary model. But these premium plus standards of this era have some pretty weird specs. For a couple of years when this guitar was made, Gibson were toying with the idea of modernizing the Gibson range, and the Les Paul standard started to become more of a kind of modernized version of the Les Paul. A lot of people got annoyed at this because they feel like the Gibson Les Paul standard should be a traditional spec Gibson Les Paul, the way a Les Paul should be. But I never mind the modern specs. I thought it was actually quite a cool idea from Gibson. So the modern specs included like a SlimTaper neck, locking tuners, push-pull knobs on the volume and tones, which would make your Les Paul sound like a Strat with the coil taps. It had different phasing options so you could get that Peter Green tone, and it had a blow switch like you have on Sir guitars. This allowed your Les Paul to be more than a Les Paul, but a lot of people thought it was too convoluted and complicated for the Les Paul. But in today's episode, we're going to investigate this amazing guitar and tell you why I think it's one of the best Les Pauls I've ever seen. But even if you don't like the specs of this guitar, you can't deny how beautiful it looks. So let's get it out the case and talk a little bit closer about the specs of this beautiful 120th anniversary Gibson Les Paul standard. Okay guys, so welcome to the Spec Talk. I've got the Les Paul all out of its case, and as you can see, in every single lighting opportunity, it's absolutely gorgeous. There's just so much depth to this quilt maple top. Obviously it's a premium 3A quilt maple top, but even in the custom shop, you'd struggle to get this much definition in your quilt top. A couple of years ago, I owned a Cobra Burst Les Paul, one of the original runs, and the quilt maple top on that was nowhere near as beautiful as this quilt maple top. So it just goes to show that you don't always necessarily have to go to custom shop to get a great looking Les Paul. Obviously this was a USA standard line, as you can see by the Les Paul standard logo there. And as I mentioned at the start, this featured a lot of modern specs, which did grind a lot of people's gears as they wanted a more traditional spec Les Paul. But it's still a very heavy body Les Paul, got a full weight mahogany back. This mahogany has some great figuring, reminding me a little bit of the Class 5 guitars that they released. And then we have a mahogany neck to match that. We kind of have this like Inverness green. It's kind of turquoisey, there's a little bit of blue in there, but it has such a beautiful look. And as you can see, you might be wondering what's on that back plate. It's basically the top and the woods were selected by an employee of Gibson, so the signature of that employee is there. Can't quite read his name, it looks like Sam maybe. In terms of electronics, we've got a set of Burstbucker Pro lead 1 and 2 pickups, and we have the push-pull knobs on the volume and the tone. So you might be asking, what do these push-pull knobs do? Basically, the 2 volumes are coil taps, so When they're down, they're not engaged. As you pull them up, you engage the coil tap. It basically simulates a thin, kind of single coily like tone. It's not a true single coil replication. This push-pull here changes the phasing options between the two pickups. So in the middle, you can get that Peter Green tone. And then this final knob, which is a really cool one for you shredders, is what they call a blow switch or a fire switch. Basically, when engaged, it disregards all the electronics on the guitar. It's basically just the bridge pickup directly to the output jack, just like how Sir do on their Guthrie Govan model. And I think this is a great option for any live guitar player. It's basically like a boost pedal in your guitar, because naturally the bridge pickup without any other electronics is going to sound slightly louder and slightly more trebly, which is perfect for a solo. But also it means I can be dialing in a nice clean single coily tone on the neck, and then I can just pull this knob up and I'm in bridge pickup mode immediately. So it's a really cool switch indeed. Carrying on with the modernization of the Les Paul, we have a Nashville style bridge and stop tailpiece, but they're locking. So you have to lock this bridge piece down and a stop tailpiece. What that means is obviously you can't, alter the height of this bridge without unscrewing it. So it means that you're less likely to, change your action when you're changing your strings. It also means that the bridge and stop tailpiece isn't going to fall off the guitar when you're changing the strings, which is a common issue with the Gibson. Got these enlarged strap buttons, which is a really cool feature as well, going to hold onto your strap a lot better. In terms of the neck, obviously, as I mentioned, it's a mahogany neck, obviously, with that blue finish. We've got a SlimTaper on this one, and it's asymmetrical. Work our way down to the headstock. It's a classic Les Paul standard headstock. We've got that bell truss rod with the standard on. Gibson logo in that mother of pearl, but then you can see that the little dot on the eye is slightly diamonded out, which is pretty cool. On the back here, we've got Grover locking tuners. These are my favorite locking tuners that Gibson use on their guitars. We've had a few guitars recently that have had these tuners on. These are my favorite kind of Gibson modernized tuners, I guess. They had it on the SG baritone that I played yesterday. Stay in tune really well, great for string changes. Got medium jumbo frets on this one, 22 frets, standard Les Paul kind of stuff. I've got cream plastics on this one, which I think really offsets that ocean blue finish very nicely. So that's the guitar. Let's plug it in and see how she sounds. So welcome to the tone demo. I'm going to be showing you all the tones that you can get with this beautiful Les Paul standard. I'm going to start with the tone that I used on, which is inspired by Eric Steckel's version of Empty Promises. It's a great track, definitely go and check it out. So this is a heavy kind of distortion tone with a lot of delay. This is the bridge pickup. So no settings have been changed, I'm going straight to the neck pickup. So obviously you can do shred tones, but let's hear some fuzzier tones now, a little bit more laid back. So you can hear there's just so much sustain on hand with this guitar. It's really nicely built, lots of resonance. Let's now hear some cleaner tones so I can go over the function of the coil splits. So this is just the bridge pickup now. I'm gonna basically play humbucker mode and I'm gonna engage the coil tap. So this is just a G chord. Coil tap engaged. Sounds a bit like a telly. Obviously, it's just a kind of like a simulation of a single coil tone, so it's not really perfect. It's quite a quacky tone. Don't know if I'd personally use that too much. This is the neck pickup now, humbucker mode. Classic humbucker tone. Here's the coil tap engaged. Like that tone for sure. It's a nice tone for sure, and it does give this Les Paul a bit more tonal variety, but I much prefer that classic Les Paul neck pickup. I'd say this guitar is set up really well. It's got quite a light gauge of string on. I'd say it's about 9 gauged. This is just coming from where we bought it from. It has a very nice low action, so it's kind of feeding me to play a little bit quicker than usual because I'm used to heavier strings. But it has a lovely tone to it. Buckethead track. So then we have the phase switch, which is on the upper tone knob. If I put that in, it makes it sound a little bit more phasey. Really like that tone. This is the bridge pickup with the same phasing. So I'm just going to do a little loop now demonstrating how you could use the coil tap functions and the phasing options. So I'm going to start off on humbucker mode just to set down the chords. Sorry, I'm faffing about with my loop here trying to get it to work. So let's hear that now. Neck pickup. Bridge pickup. And I think it's easier to tell with a more higher gain tone. So if I was, for example, playing on the neck pickup, bridge, but that's pretty much all the tones that you can get from this beautiful Les Paul standard, so let's go to my final thoughts. So guys, what are my final thoughts on today's video? Although this guitar is not very standard or traditional, I absolutely love it for that reason. I love the glaring blue color, it looks so beautiful with that quilt maple top, it looks just like a swimming pool. And I actually really like the coil taps and the blow switch on the tone today. I thought it created a really cool, unique sound for the Les Paul. When you use these coil taps, it doesn't necessarily sound single coily, it just sounds slightly thinned out, but still they're very usable if you're doing a lot of live looping, or if you're wanting to get different tones for recording. In terms of standalone tones though, the single coils are never going to replicate an actual single coil, obviously, it's just kind of a simulation. Burstbucker pickups aren't really my favourite pickup ever, but they do sound good in this guitar, and it has that nice warm tone that you want from a Les Paul. I really like the upgraded specs, like the Grover locking tuners stayed in tune well, and obviously it looks gorgeous. But most importantly guys, let me know in the comment section below, what do you think of this Gibson Les Paul Standard? Should the Les Paul Standard be a modern take, or should it be traditional? Let's have a little debate in the comment section below and see what you guys think. But thank you so much for watching Squealing Pig Guitars, I really appreciate it, and make sure to check in tomorrow for another video. But until then, keep rocking guys, I'll see you soon.